What's going on, boxing fans? This is Kenneth. That's me unboxing. Firm request, subscribe. Let's speak some boxing. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the boxing community right now, the world of boxing. Biggest thing that's happening right now is May 2nd, the big date of May 2nd. You got Saul Canelo Alvarez. He already agreed to terms and conditions to go ahead and take on Miguel Cotto. But everyone knows that Cinco de Mayo is Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not Mexican or anything like that. Saul Canelo Alvarez is Mexican. That's definitely one of his big dreams. That's on his bucket list, and definitely he's very, very persistent. And he's telling Oscar De La Hoya that he wants Cinco de Mayo. Whatever it is, he wants Cinco de Mayo. But you got to be wise. You got to be smart. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is pound for pound king. He's the cash cow. He generates, numbers don't lie. We can have all these speculations. We can talk just to talk. But you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do in life. Numbers don't lie. Like I said, Saul Canelo Alvarez, he agreed to the terms to square off against Miguel Cotto on the first weekend of May. However, like I said, it's Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s date. It's definitely his date. If Mayweather fights that same night, he can't fight someone for the likes of Amir Khan, even though that'll be a good fight. But Amir Khan has the UK. He has a huge fan base. But for him to take on a big fight, a mega fight, which is one of the biggest fights besides Floyd Mayweather Jr. against Manny Pacquiao, would be Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Miguel Cotto. Both of them, Cotto has a big, huge fan base. Obviously, his numbers are definitely good as far as pay-per-view. Saul Canelo Alvarez likes you put them together. It's going to be a war. It's definitely going to be a war. But the current pound-for-pound king, the pay-per-view buys, the money he's generated in the last fights have fallen a lot. He's fought Marcus Madonna. He's usually averaging about 1 million pay-per-views, and it's just Floyd himself. Let's be realistic. Marcus Madonna doesn't have a huge fan base whatsoever. So these numbers are just based on Floyd Mayweather Jr. Marcus Madonna, the first one, made roughly around 900,000 buys, and the rematch made around 920, 925 paid to see the fight. But regularly, like I was telling you, Floyd Mayweather Jr., he definitely makes over a million buys. That's why his name is money. But anyways, you got Saul Canelo Alvarez. That's in front of him. Now, those two alone, when they went ahead and fought, Saul Canelo Alvarez with his Mexican fan base, with his fans, his growing fans, that every single year, every single fight, it's getting bigger and bigger. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., they actually have the all-time, most pay-per-view in history. They got 2.4 million buys. But Canelo's name recognition, his main name recognition, and his fan base is based out of Mexico. And Cinco de Mayo, like I was saying, Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's relentless. He wants that date. So Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, the president of Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, he said that he's willing to talk to Saul Canelo Alvarez, and persuade him to move, just get away from the May 2nd fight, to push that date back. Because the only way he's able to do that is you have Floyd Mayweather Jr. taking on Manny Pacquiao, which is the mega fight that everybody's been speaking about for years and years and years. And if you were to put both of those fights on the same night, they're going to clash. They're definitely going to clash. And, Bob Arum, he recently said as far as May 2nd, that date belonged to this. What Bob Arum said, he said that date belonged to Canelo Alvarez. Because why? Because he's Mexican. And that falls on the Mexican holiday, Cinco de Mayo. But, Saul Canelo Alvarez, like I said, he's young. He's 24 years old. He's starting to build up a brand for himself. He's having some big wins and big wins underneath his belt as far as, and stardom itself. He's doing good on pay-per-view. He beat a fighter that nobody wants to beat, step into the ring with, which is pretty raw, He's Cuban, southpaw, Erislandy Lara. He basically did a good job against Erislandy Lara. He gained a lot of respect, even though a lot of people thought he lost that fight. I thought he won that fight. He did a very, very good job. But he took on some serious competition. And then he went ahead and dismantled and just completely dominated Alfredo Angulo. Both of those fights, they generated around 300,000 each. 300. I think it was like 350,000 for the Lara fight, and it was like 300,000 for the Alfredo. I don't know. It was around 300,000, period. But it's respectively, it's a good fight. Lara doesn't have too much of a fan base. Angulo doesn't have too much of a fan base. So this fan base is based on Saul Canelo Alvarez. But right now, the way things are, it just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense if Saul Canelo Alvarez went head to head, toe to toe against Floyd Mayweather Jr. Miguel Cotto, he's wise, he knows his stuff, and he's been in the game long enough to know that, hey, I'm not going to cut myself short to fight you on the same night as the mega fight Pacquiao versus Maypac. Just not going to do it. You're going to have less buys, and obviously, ultimately, less buys, less money. Which I really don't know the terms. I know a lot of people are saying that Oscar De La Hoya said, look, we'll go ahead and push it back only on the terms that if you go ahead and take on Floyd Mayweather Jr., signed a contract, you take on Manny Pacquiao. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. was interviewed in Fight Hype, which is Floyd Hype. Let's be realistic. Fight Hype's all about Floyd Mayweather Jr. And they keep throwing jabs at one another. For this initial challenge and trying to set it up for May 2nd. I don't know what's the big deal. As far as a lot of stuff that postponed the fight in the past, as far as drug testing and stuff like that, I don't think that's a big deal. What type of drug test? I know that's something that's being up for debate. But as far as Manny Pacquiao taking the drug test, he's fine with it. But as far as how it's going to be done, I know that's something that Bob Arum's getting involved in. So we'll see how that pans out. As far as the dollar amounts and the dollars itself, that's not a big issue. The money's there. The money's definitely there. I don't think money's going to be an issue. I think Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to get his bargain. Manny Pacquiao is going to get his side of what he agreed to. So I don't think that's going to be an issue as well. Now, as far as the venue, I don't think the venue is going to be an issue whatsoever. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. said, just Bob Arum. Bob Arum's getting paid out. Get out the way. I'm not sure how much it is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the millions for him to get out the picture. But at the end of the day, say what you want. Manny Pacquiao's a big draw. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a big draw. But him being undefeated and all, he has to say. He has the bargaining power. He's 47-0 and 26 KOs for a reason. But like he said, Mayweather said, I think just timing. It's timing. The right time, right place. I think this fight should happen. Quote unquote. That's exactly what he said. Now, it comes down to the promoters. That's basically it. And you guys know that Floyd Mayweather Jr., Bob Arum always had issues, big issues and stuff like that. And you know what? It's all hype. It's definitely all hype. You have Freddie Roach saying his side of the story. You have Manny Pacquiao saying his side of the story. You got Floyd Mayweather Jr. saying his side of the story. You have Bob Arum saying his side of the story. You got Oscar De La Hoya saying his side of the story. You got Bernard Hopkins saying his side of the story. You got all these people. At the end of the day, they're a bunch of white-collar guys trying to make the most money possible. And that's how boxing is. Does Floyd Mayweather Jr. hate Manny Pacquiao? Does Manny Pacquiao hate Floyd Mayweather Jr.? I really don't know, man. At the end of the day, this is what they do for a living. And they know there's millions and millions, hundreds of $1 million involved. In the back of my mind, I was just like, look, there's so much money involved. I don't know why so many people are upset at one another. I think this is strategically planned. I think they do certain things. Manny Pacquiao rant and rave, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. stay quiet and say certain things just to get the emotions of the fans, get them involved. Have the Pac-Tard, Flomos just hating each other, and I think that it's all part of the game. I think everything's mapped out. I think everything's planned out. I think it's all good, But one thing I do like with this whole entire thing with Saul Canelo Alvarez, I like the fact that Saul Canelo Alvarez, by him taking the Cinco de Mayo, he's pushing Mayweather into deep waters. That's it. He's pushing him. It's either sink or swim. Either you're going to fight Manny Pacquiao or you're not. Because if you're not, I'm taking your date. And I think when it comes to money, Floyd Mayweather Jr. knows. He knows Cinco de Mayo. I think it's more for bragging rights. I think it's more for power. And by Mayweather allowing Canelo to take Cinco de Mayo, then he's gonna lose his edge. He's gonna lose a lot of respect from his fans. So I definitely respect Canelo Alvarez for stepping up and taking Cinco de Mayo. I definitely respect De La Hoya saying that, hey, you know what? If you don't sign the contract, then I think it's good for boxing. I think they're Manny Pacquiao, both Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr., they're already on their last straw. Their last years of boxing, and the new generation is going to come on. And it's disappointing. It's definitely disappointing to see these guys. It's disappointing to see Mayweather fight Marcus Maidana twice. towards the end of his career. It's disappointing to see Manny Pacquiao, the top pound for pound, Manny Pacquiao, a monster, taking on Chris Algieri. Manny Pacquiao taking on Brandon Rios. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I just think they need to go ahead and fight one another. Whoever, win or lose or draw, it doesn't matter. They go ahead and do a rematch, and after they fight twice, that's it. They're done with boxing. That's basically it. Give it to the new generation. But anyways, guys, if that fight happens, I honestly think, let's be realistic. I'm a Floyd Mayweather Jr. fan, and I respect the skills. I know he's getting older. I know he's getting slower and stuff like that, but skills pay the bills, and I honestly think that Floyd Mayweather Jr., I don't know why, I think he's all about money. He's trying to cash out, but I think if he steps into the ring against Manny Pacquiao, I think he'll beat Manny Pacquiao hands down. He'll beat him multiple rounds. He'll completely outbox him. Now, I understand a lot of people were just like, "Oh, Kenny, are you effing crazy? Are you fucking crazy?" And this and that. I'm just looking at stylistic, and I'm looking at styles, because styles makes fights. When I look at fights, I know there's different variables, and I know when it comes to boxing, it's kind of a 50-50 draw. But I just think stylistically, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to give Manny Pacquiao problems. Manny Pacquiao has always had issues against Juan Marquez. Stylistically, why? Because he's a counterpuncher. He's a defensive counterpuncher. So anytime Manny Pacquiao comes in, I know his speed compensates for his aggressiveness, and his speed compensates for his mistakes. And if you look at Manny Pacquiao, he's not the best technician. He's not technically sound when it comes to boxing. He has a lot of power and a lot of speed, and he gets away with a lot of stuff. But you get a counterpuncher that perfected his craft, a great counterpuncher like from the likes of Juan Marquez or Floyd Mayweather Jr., which Floyd Mayweather Jr. is better than Juan Marquez. He's gonna capitalize on your mistakes all day, and he's just as fast as you are. So I think Manny Pacquiao is gonna get exposed in that fight. I think Manny Pacquiao has the ability to possibly knock out Floyd Mayweather Jr., and a lot of people depend on Manny Pacquiao's power. Why? Because in the past years, Manny Pacquiao, he's been a monster. That's what he's been known for, knocking out Margarito, knocking out, they called the fight, he knocking out Ricky Hatton, calling the fight De La Hoya, making Shane Mosley hit the floor, and just beating the shit out of Shane Mosley. Just dismantling all these fighters. Claudio couldn't even throw a punch because Claudio was just like, holy fuck. But that's the image, and that's the reputation that Manny Pacquiao has developed for himself, and that's a badass image. But let's be realistic. His last couple fights, his last couple years, he hasn't been knocking out anybody whatsoever. Yes, he knocked down Chris Algieri. I get it, but who's Chris Algieri? I don't care. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't. You hate me or not, watch this channel or not. It doesn't matter to me. I appreciate if you watch it, but I can care less if you agree with me or you don't. Chris Algieri, we can sit down and we can discuss about Chris Algieri. And Chris Algieri, is a bum. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not saying he's a bum. He's a good fighter and stuff like that. But to the caliber of Manny Pacquiao, it's night and day. You can't even compare him. You can't. So the performance against Chris Algieri, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not no Chris Algieri. I'm sorry. You have Brandon Rios. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is no Brandon Rios. I'm sorry. You can't compare that performance. You got Timothy Bradley. If you watch the Timothy Bradley fight, Timothy Bradley, he's a good fighter, but Timothy Bradley's no Floyd Mayweather Jr. Timothy Bradley's not a power puncher. Timothy Bradley's not a counter puncher, a defensive puncher. Timothy Bradley's a good fighter. He has a combination of, he's a 5-tool fighter, but he's not to the caliber of Floyd Mayweather Jr. He can box. He's pretty fast. He has a little bit of power. He has a great chin. I give him that. And he has some boxing ability. So he's average in a lot of different categories, and that's why he's a solid fighter. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. has perfected his defense. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a fast motherfucker. Floyd Mayweather Jr., a lot of people think his chin is suspect, but he's taking shots from the biggest fighters out there, and his chin is there. His expertise is there. His power is there, I don't think he has the most power in the world, but, it's going to sting. It's going to pop. But at the end of the day, if I look at the Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, the first 5 rounds, I gave it to Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley just boxing. Timothy Bradley impressed me. He was beating Manny Pacquiao in the fight. The second half of the fight, Timothy Bradley started exchanging and stuff like that and got completely, Manny Pacquiao made the proper adjustments and beat him. But, Timothy Bradley showed that, if you box Manny Pacquiao, Juan Marquez showed if you box Manny Pacquiao tends to make mistakes. And Manny Pacquiao is beatable. As far as ducking and dodging and stuff like that, that's all speculations. I really can't say. I can't. No one. You can't say. No one can say here. Sitting there saying that whose fault is it? Is it Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s fault? Is it Bob Aaron's fault? It's all speculation. It's all in the air. You just never know. But I wish this fight happens. Like I said, if this fight happens, I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I want this fight to happen. But I think Mayweather beat him. Hands down, Mayweather beat him. But vice versa, I know Marcus Madonna's not no Manny Pacquiao. I get it. I know he's not no Manny Pacquiao. But stylistically, I think it's a good fight. Coming to Cinco de Mayo, I don't think he needs to fight Amir Khan. Even though I would love to see that fight. I would put I think I've always said it. You know, Amir Khan put on a great performance against Callazo. A lot of people were talking shit, saying Callazo was over the hill, even though Callazo knocked out Victor Ortiz. But a lot of people were saying that that wasn't a legitimate fight. You know, Devin Alexander. People forget that Devin Alexander was in the runnings to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. He even said it on ESPN. He said it a lot. That fight never happened. Devin Alexander sitting there talking all that shit during the weigh-in, but he ended up getting his ass whooped. I didn't even give Devin Alexander one round, and Devin Alexander's a solid fighter. I didn't even give Devin Alexander one round, and that was a fantastic performance against Amir Khan. I've seen a lot of boxing channels, and you guys write off. Everyone says, hey, Amir Khan's a bum. Amir Khan's a bum. ESPN says Amir Khan's a bum. Everyone thinks Amir Khan's a bum. Now everybody's just like, holy shit, what's going on? Because Amir Khan did put on a great performance against Devin Alexander. Now they're starting to take him serious. But I'm looking stylistically. Stylistically, Amir Khan's going to give Floyd Mayweather Jr. some problems. He's explosive. He's fast. And, like I always said, Amir Khan has the fastest hands in the game of boxing. Mayweather knows that. He has the fastest fastest hands in the boxing. Erislandy Lara, he's going to give Floyd Mayweather Jr. problems. He's fast as shit, So, all in all, I would like to see the Pacquiao fight, but I said, Manny Pacquiao is going to lose. But after that, I would like to see Amir Khan. I would like to see Amir Khan take Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't want to see Floyd Mayweather Jr. take on Cal Brook. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Cal Brook take on somebody else, like Cal Brook take on Timothy Bradley. Cal Brook take on two-time Keith Thurman. I don't want to see Keith Thurman take on Floyd Mayweather Jr. This shit doesn't make sense. I think Mayweather, that's an easy fight for Mayweather, even though Keith Thurman has a lot of power. Amir Khan taking on Keith Thurman, that'll be a good fight, but Amir Khan will beat Keith Thurman. I'm sorry, even though a lot of people say, Amir Khan doesn't have a chin, but whatever, man. Like, the more and more fights that Amir Khan has, you guys are going to still talk shit about the Danny Garcia situation. So it really doesn't matter. So if Danny Garcia, as soon as Danny Garcia won that fight, that was a lucky ass punch, and just stylistically, it's an unorthodox fight for Amir Khan. But Danny Garcia knows it. Danny Garcia was getting his ass whipped throughout the whole fight. So I don't throughout the beginning of the fight before the knockout. But Danny Garcia doesn't want to fight Amir Khan. There's no way. Danny Garcia's not going to come up to 147, even though he was talking shit that he was going to come up to 147 a year ago. But he's looking right now, all them fighters. Who's he going to fight? Who's Danny Garcia going to fight? Danny Garcia's not going to fight no Kell Brook. He'll get his ass whipped. Danny Garcia's not going to fight Keith Thurman. He's going to get knocked out. Danny Garcia's not going to fight Amir Khan. Let's be realistic. At 147, that's just not going to happen. Danny Garcia's not going to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. Danny Garcia's not going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Danny Garcia, he can't. Danny Garcia could possibly fight Juan Marquez. Yeah, that's about it. Danny Garcia can try to fight Paulie Malignaggi if Paulie Malignaggi wants to step up, come out of boxing. He can take on Adrian Broner. That'd be a good fight. I want to see Adrian Broner against Danny Garcia. But anyways, guys, I'm sitting here just I haven't created a video in a while, so I'm sorry I got off topic. But yeah, I can sit here and talk boxing for days. But anyways, guys, friend request, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Cinco de Mayo, Canelo Alvarez. You think he should take the date? Or do you think Mayweather just needs to take on Manny Pacquiao? If that fight, if both fights happen, which one would you watch? George the Boxing Genius, I already know. He'll watch both of them shits. He'll put on two TVs. He's such a boxing fan. We're such boxing fans. We'll buy both of them shits. But anyways, guys, friend request, subscribe. Have a good one.